are live. Doing the first movie fight of 2019.
Yay.
Not copyrighted, because that's probably already copyrighted by the
Yeah, it's not movie fights. It's film.
Adversarial
Fistycuffs.
Film Fistycuffs. Very nice.
Oh my god.
Very nice.
And it's me. It's Kendall and Emily.
Hi.
Me and Kendall is going to do the Fistycuffs. Emily is going to do the babysitting.
Yes.
The technical term is mediation.
Mediation.
Yes.
Yeah.
I am a professional mediator.
The grown-up job.
The grown-up job.
Yes.
Keep shit under control.
And we will be drinking for this. Start out is the Larvik Lucky Jack Grapefruit Edition on Kendall's corner.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah, and in
Yeah.
my
That's why I
corner
tasted so weird.
it's the Surdegslager. You could have bought this at Kolonialen before Christmas, but
Yeah.
now we don't have it anymore.
Because we drank it all.
Yes. And it's
Rather good, actually.
really good.
Alright, I'm jealous.
Oh, it's
You can't have any.
yeah, it's you could have had.
I know, I could have. And instead I chose a grapefruit beer, which
Yeah.
my favorite is
It's,
always fruit in my beer.
It was a
Is it
great
all fruit,
choice.
Or is
All
it jam?
Ooh, beer jam. Okay, digression is beginning early
Anyway,
on.
sorry, that was
Yeah.
my fault.
Now, we're testing the limits of how far we can stretch this before you will mediate.
I've already failed at my job. We haven't even started. Yeah. Okay.
We're
Shall we
gonna-
begin?
Yeah. The theme is comic book movies.
Kind of.
Yes.
Loose theme.
Loose theme.
I hope it's just movies, because if we could go all comic books, I would have different answers.
Oh, I wouldn't have that much to
I know.
Yeah.
To contribute.
Have you read Bamse, verdens sterkeste bjørn?
Actually, I have.
Oh shit.
Except for none of the words, because I read them down at the Hitta in so long before I spoke any Norwegian. So I've seen lots of bumps and drink honey and go like, "Rah!" And then I'm not quite sure why or who, but
It's a mythology that you need to get
I
into.
see,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
go on.
Anyway,
Yeah.
back to the questions. First question is going to be, well, it's not really a question, but recasting Justice League. I have two answers from Kendall, so we'll start with those. First of all, Superman, Mars. You're up.
Oh, I thought you were going to start with him. But that's fine. You can start with me.
Yeah.
My Superman. Well, my choice of recasting Superman. Phrasing it differently.
My Superman.
Yeah.
It's mine.
Sounded weird.
Sounded really weird.
Yeah, Matt
Yeah.
Boomer. People probably don't know him.
No, I'm going to have to look him up right now.
Yeah, I can say that he was playing in Nice Guys with Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe. He
Interesting.
was the hitman, and he kind of looks the part of a Superman. And especially if you want to go Superman dark, it fits him even more, in my opinion.
Okay.
Especially if you've seen him act, it's he can do the dark easily.
Cool.
And,
So that's my choice for Superman.
yeah, and Kendall, what is your...
My choice is Army Hammer. And he's been suggested for the role, and as soon as somebody suggested him, I really liked him for it.
Yeah.
I've seen him in 2 movies of note, and that would be The Lone Ranger, which was terrible and yet awesome at the same time.
Yeah.
And then was a movie with the now Superman, Henry Cavill, where they play a Russian and British spy.
The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's what it was. And I really enjoyed that. And maybe I'm nostalgic, but I really like the symmetry of you had the
Passing of the torch.
Passing of the torch,
Yeah.
even though it never actually happened in the movie, happened a long time ago. I like it. And I really like him.
Okay. You have anything to say about
Well,
that?
I'll rest my case until we get through all of them. Well, okay, fuck it. I would
No, I think
say.
we're going to defend it by one.
Wait, well, can we do Batman first? My choice for Batman,
Sure.
because
He doesn't have a choice with Batman.
oh, you
I
don't-
can have a choice for Batman.
You should have had an Army Hammer for Batman.
Well, but is that what he's been suggested? It is, actually, isn't it? Yeah.
No, I think that he's been suggested for Superman, but when the guy that made Mad Max was going to do a Justice League movie, Army Hammer was going to play Batman.
Okay.
If I did hear it correctly. Or maybe it was Superman. Well, it doesn't matter. I chose him for Batman. Because, like the 2 movies you've seen, Lone Ranger, Man from U.N.C.L.E., he is the more silent, stoic type.
Yes.
So for me, that's it also fits Superman, but for me, it's more a Batman quality. He also has the chin. If you have the cowl on, you need that chin. As Superman, you just need a Ken doll face.
You have to be pretty to be Superman.
Yeah.
Like really pretty.
Damn, those are really good points. Actually, that's unfortunate.
Superman is definitely a metrosexual.
Well, Clark Kent is a heterosexual. Superman is a metrosexual.
But I'm sorry, but Armie Hammer is a bit of a pretty boy. Armie Hammer is like you know, he's the sort of.
Well, I
that's
thought
why
we were
he's
going
the
to
Russian
discuss
guy.
movies, not how pretty men are.
Well,
Oh my
that's part of
god.
it.
Yeah, sorry.
But I would say that he is that pretty. He is that Superman face that when he puts on the cowl and you know he's gonna have to have black hair. He'll bring the same quality. I love Henry Cavill as Superman. I'm really sad we're losing him. But if somebody's gonna replace him, I wanted somebody who does that kind of like effortlessly Superman, right?
But Matt Bomer has like he's got the jaw, man.
You want him as?
But it's like he's got this like the Superman jaw. When I think about Superman, I always think about like that old TV show with what's his name, Dean
Kane.
Dean Kane.
Yeah.
It's got the chin, you know.
God damn it!
You got the chin.
Got like the dimple in the
paralyzed
chin.
guy got the chin.
Paralyzed guy.
Yeah.
Christopher Reeve.
Yeah.
Show some respect, peasant.
Paralyzed guy.
God damn, bro.
Sorry.
That's,
I don't really have much love for Superman.
Clearly.
oh, that would be another podcast.
I respect Superman, but I don't love him.
We're not going into that now.
No,
that's
so,
a can of worms. We're going to close right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
We will never stop.
And the next pick.
Okay, now recast the Flash.
I want to hear Marius's first, if I may.
Okay.
I'm kind of both of these I find hilarious, by the way.
I picked maybe a controversial choice, but I think it's time that this great actor gets back into mainstream. I chose Shia LaBeouf
For the Flash?
for the Flash.
Isn't
Because the Justice League. Who plays in the Justice League?
Ezra Miller.
Yes, his way of being neurotic, he doesn't pull it off in the same way as Shia LaBeouf. Good.
You're actually right. As soon as you said Shia LaBeouf and I thought about it, I see why. I still think.
When I think about
like my choice.
Shia LaBeouf, I just can't not see him in those skin-colored tights in the Sia video, the music video.
Oh, that's
You guys seen that?
that's your go-to Shia
Yeah,
LaBeouf.
that's my go-to Shia LaBeouf reference. When that image pops into my head.
Yeah.
As soon as anyone mentions his name.
What is a great song?
I know who Sia is.
Never mind.
Yeah, sorry.
Because
There's the nerdness that I.
Do you want to tell Marius your
My choice is he's near and dear to. He's going to come up from audience later on this list. I just know. Is Zac Efron? Because the problem, what the Flash is, and this is my comicsness mixed in. The Flash is boisterous and loud. He's the Joker. He's everything moves so fast from him. He doesn't quite take everything seriously, even though he's burdened with, as all superheroes are, responsibilities and stuff like that. And the Justice League Flash was just neurotic and flat and weird. And Zac Efron could do a great, energetic, he's the heart of the Justice League in a way. Like he's happy to be there. He doesn't take everything too seriously.
I mean, High School Musical. We know he can pull it off.
Right, and Neighbors and stuff. I love Zac Efron. Baywatch, Zac Efron's awesome. He has gone beyond High School Musical, even though they'll still stand the test of time. I think he could make a really good Flash with those kind of qualities. But I also really agree with
It's just
I don't like it.
you just don't like him.
I'm not a
I've
huge Zac
enjoyed.
Efron fan.
No, I've seen both Neighbors. I enjoyed them. I've seen Dirty Grandpa. I enjoyed it. The one he had with the guy from Workaholics, Mike and Dave Needs Wedding Dates or something. I enjoyed it. But I don't see him totally as the Flash. Yeah, I have no other. I can't get my mind around it.
But what is it you don't like about him for the Flash? Like he's young, he's pretty, right? He's the Flash, man. He's this like cocksure guy.
Yeah, he get the cockiness of it, definitely. The neurotic.
That's where Justice League has deluded you all. The Flash isn't neurotic. He's very self-assured, right? That's why him and Hal Jordan get along so well. They're both kind of like freewheeling weirdos.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to dispute it then, because then we're coming from two different.
They're very different.
They're very different.
Yeah.
Like
I do like
opposites.
Shia LaBeouf though. I think you're.
If you've seen the movie Man Down.
No.
There's well, it's just great. It's not a great movie, but his performance in it is great, and Gary Oldman has a small part that them together. The scene they have, it's
I definitely think Shia LaBeouf can act.
Yeah.
I have to say that contractually because he's Canadian, so I have to hype him up.
Represent. Do you want to discuss your other picks for the rest of?
Well, I can
Justice
go
League?
through them, and if you have issues,
bring it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Batman.
For me, it's Armie Hammer. Like
You said that.
Because
and I give you that, but he's a better Superman to me than a Batman.
Yeah, but not as good as Matt Boomer would.
And it's hard because I don't know Matt Boomer at all. I know that face. I've seen him in stuff.
Yeah. I can
He's
go.
soft looking. I don't know. He looks like he wants to give you a hug. Batman shouldn't want to give you a hug. Bruce Wayne can, but Bruce Wayne has to have a little bit of gravitas as well, right? When Bruce Wayne furrows his brow, you have to be like, oh shit, it's got real now, right?
Yeah. I think Armie Hammer would pull off.
All right.
Yeah, but no, never mind. For me, Cyborg. And I think this was probably gonna. If you pick somebody else, because of the two movies you'd seen recently, Creed 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So I picked Michael B. Jordan for Cyborg. Because high school athlete, it fits that.
Totally.
And I think that
And he's so hot right now.
Yeah.
I mean, in
That
the
hot right now.
rising starness, his star is on fire.
Yeah. So maybe too big to get, unless they actually give it.
We're not talking logistics. We're just talking
Cyborg
dreams.
movies, yeah. So that's my Cyborg.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wonder Woman. I
You would
actually
replace Wonder Woman ever?
Yeah, I thought that. Yeah, if we're gonna do it, replace. I'm gonna do everything. Start from scratch. Alicia Vikander from the Tomb Raider movie.
Yeah.
For me, I think she could do the job. Maybe she doesn't strike me as an Amazon, but Tom Cruise, Stallone, they're not really tall. They make it work.
They're extremely short.
Yeah.
Actually.
But they don't look
Not really
they don't
tall
look
is a
short
nice
on
way of
movies, so
saying
you can make her Amazon.
They make
hopefully.
people stand on boxes and they just don't feel their feet.
Yeah.
There's ways around it.
Moving magic, people.
Moving magic.
Okay. But okay, I love Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. I really do. She took it and made it. But part of the problem was that I agreed with when she was cast is that you casted this will-o-wisp of a woman as this warrior, right? So Alicia Vikander's height isn't an issue for me, but the fact that
she's kind of scrawny.
yeah, she's small and lithe, and I think we're ready for a Wonder Woman that doesn't look like a pinup. That looks like she's been fighting her whole life. That is ripped and
like Serena Williams.
Yeah, literally
the
that
tennis
type
player.
of body.
Yeah.
Right? Give me somebody.
She looks tough.
Yeah.
I would not fuck with her.
No, exactly. Give me somebody that when Gal Gadot walks out, she looks great, and I believed her as Wonder Woman. But Wonder Woman should have as much gravitas as Superman and Batman, and I think that casting somebody who's just a bit bigger and more powerful and looks like a fighter, right? I think you greatly benefit from that. I fortunately don't have any suggestions.
No, it was the hardest one to suggest something, because I want to maybe go more of a big.
I can't when I try to think of really tall female actresses, and I can't think of any that just comes to mind straight off the top of my head that are really tall
Kathleen
and
Turner.
Yeah.
But I mean, but the unfortunate part is she still has to be like far over the average, physically attractive, right? And that has to also appeal to the young boys who think that all women should look like these rods, right? So I think that like you even have the potential to like break out and have this idea that like, look, we can give you a stunningly beautiful woman that looks like she can lift a fucking bus, not like we would look, because nobody looks pretty like that.
So not a great pick, but it's a pick. But for Aquaman, Steve Howie.
Steve Howie.
Yes. Have you seen
Who's that?
Shameless? The American version of Shameless. Have you seen Game Over Man?
No.
Well then,
You got a problem.
No, he is the same physique as Jason, but more of a straight up comedy actor. So I envision something more along the lines of Chris Pratt type of actor in the Aquaman role. Actually, I think 50-50 of my picks are, you have Armie Hammer, Alicia, and Matt Boomer, straight up dramatic actors. And Michael B. Jordan, Steve Howie, Shia LaBeouf, they do the comedy. So it's a nice balanced team. And the three of them are clearly the children of the group, and then the others are the grown-ups.
I'm going to be taking issue just with that description.
The children of the groups?
You can't have Aquaman. Aquaman's a king. He's not cracking jokes so much. Like he takes himself more seriously than Batman in a way, right? Because like, I'm Aquaman, I'm Lord of the Sea and all the creatures in it, right? Like he thinks he's really hot shit. So I think getting somebody who's just like funny, you're gonna
no, because that's funny. Somebody who takes themselves too seriously. So that you if you do that with a straight up dramatic actor, it's pompous shit, isn't he? But if there's an underlining comedy that lightens that, I'm Aquaman, then for me that it becomes more of I would enjoy that more. And I'm not taking anything away from the character Aquaman, but casting Justice League, for me that's how I would see it. And they're also taking it from the dark to the more light.
For sure.
And that's also why I want 50-50.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Shall we move along?
Yes.
Okay, now let's go with what is the best origin movie
In the MCU.
Yes.
What's the
in
question?
the MCU? In the MCU.
You want me to go first?
Yes.
I'm so interested in your pick here.
Black Panther. It was nominated for the best movie. No, there is a reason for it. I have.
Kendall's just like,
that hurts my soul.
ow.
It's really hot right now.
It's really hot right now. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Kind of works. My pick is represented by my shirt that nobody can see. I take Captain America: The First Avenger.
Yeah.
I think that for reasons I will pronounce forthwith, I think that is the best origin and most important origin in the MCU.
I agree that for Phase 1, it was the best origin movie. But the way I see Black Panther, different from all the other, especially Phase 1 origin movie, they didn't blend into the real world as the same way as the others. You do Iron Man, it's him in the real world. Captain America, it's him in the real world. Thor starts on Asgard, but it puts him in the real world. So everything is just on a
limited.
real, But with Black Panther, you create a new world that's never been explored before. It doesn't only give you an origin of something; it gives you a new world to explore. I could maybe pick Guardians of the Galaxy, but Guardians of the Galaxy is an origin for any of the characters. So that's just an ensemble piece of good characters, but no origin in Guardians. So for me, if I look at all the movies, Black Panther is the one I most enjoyed based on that they gave me also a whole world to explore.
That's good arguments. I was really hoping that you were going to choose Guardians of the Galaxy and I was going to get you on that.
On a
I was like
technicality.
waiting with it in the wings, just ready to be like, shabam, it's not an origin movie. But no, I think the reason why Captain America is the best is because it's the most important. You say it's for phase 1. Captain America, even though Iron Man came first, Captain America actually is the beginning of the MCU. In Iron Man is constantly affected by Captain America, right? And he is, you know, if the real world person is Kevin Feige that the MCU is built on, the fictional Marvel world is built on the back of Captain America because it's his mythos that inspires everything. And so I think it's a really important movie, right? You have to care when they find it in the ice. And Chris Evans was so good. He plays the earnesty, the getting the power and adopting the heaviness of it with a lightness at the same time. That just, you know, I'm still the same kid from Brooklyn. I still got to do this. And I think that was critical because everybody thought he was going to be the Human Torch again, right? I was going to have a wisecracking cap, right? But we didn't. The other thing that movie has is, I was thinking we should add as a category, is the best villain in the MCU, which is the Red Skull. Because every other villain in the MCU has been given pathos. They're relatable. You can understand them, right? The Red Skull is a villain. He wants power. He wants it at the expense of anything and anybody. He doesn't care about. He's a villain to the core. He never repents. There's no redeemable traits about him, and that's what we want. I want a villain that you just want him to go down.
Well, also
you don't feel for him, right?
Yeah, but even that he's a 100% villain.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, he is like his Hydra is an kind of Nazi taken further.
Yeah.
So yeah,
he's
of course
he's Nazi.
He's like, of course he's the worst villain they have. Well, worst.
The worst of the best. Yeah.
Yeah. And
technically
I agree.
wasn't the question.
Yeah.
But
he's
I think
part of the origin story, so it's.
But I think that what Hugo Weaving did as the Red Skull against Chris Evans was that they made it, even though it's a very grounded war movie, it was still Captain America against the Red Skull, which is, they've been fighting for like 70 years in comics now, right? And we got it.
Yeah.
And it was done well.
Well, I'm gonna take the arc of, well, maybe not arc, but how he develops through the movie. He wants to be a soldier to fight for his country, but he's too sick, too small.
Yeah.
But he has heart and he has good values. He kind of jumps on the grenade, and then he gets the power, right? And then that's Captain America. But Black Panther, he starts with the power, and he has the duel with his cousin, where they're both powerless. Yeah. They're kind of mortal. Mm-hmm. Then he gets it back, so he goes through a different arc, and
one of the most overused superhero movie tropes ever. Hero has great power, loses great power to learn humbleness, regains such power with a newfound vigor and respect for who he used to be.
Yes, and when you can do that and sell it that well as I did in Black Panther, I would say
Black Panther was great. Black Panther, for all the reasons you described, it showed us Wakanda. And it did give us a whole other world. It was the first time since Guardians of the Galaxy that Marvel had ready to go. Oh, now we get to play. We don't have to be constrained anymore, right? What technology do we want? These people are super advanced. We'll give them whatever we want and get to like James Bond this stuff, right? And it's a fantastic movie. But, and I'm gonna get hate for this, it got so caught up in this wave of it being a black movie, a black person with, and I mean, that's not untrue, but it's not enough for it to be, it's not Best Picture of the Year by any standards.
That was a joke.
I know.
For my part, and I agree with your points, but that was how everybody talked around the movie, and that was how this is the best part of the movie. But for me, the movie itself is just a great origin, and not with everything that is around it. But I think maybe we need a decision upon who is.
First, I want to just say one last point that I had forgotten, and I need to say it.
Yeah.
The other reason Captain America, First Avenger, is the most important is it sets Steve Rogers very purposefully with that talk with Erskine by the bed, and they have this very, like a strong man who's always had power will lose respect for it, but a weak man who gains the power will always know what it means to be weak, right? And it sets Rogers throughout everything he does is basically affected by his interactions. It's his Uncle Ben, right?
Yeah.
With great power must come great responsibility. All the stuff that Erskine says to him, and it's what everything he does, from saving people on the streets of New York at the cost of his own life, jumping in front of stuff, all of this idea of using his power for the betterment and what's right, into Civil War, into even Avengers 2, everything that is Steve Rogers is built in that movie, and it plays out so nicely through the whole series. So I think it's the best and the most important.
Oh God, pressure. I don't know. I don't think I can decide on a winner, because you both had good arguments for both of those films.
We can flip a coin.
Flip a coin. Does anyone have a coin?
That hurts.
Gonna have to. It's the only way.
It doesn't matter who wins as long as you give me the point.
No, it matters because we're counting points.
I'm not giving points for Justice League, by the way. Because
that was a
difficult
degeneration of stupidity. So
yes.
I mean, good points, but
Good points.
yeah, there was no form or function.
No. We have to decide.
How gentlemen decide.
Can you do like rock, paper, scissors or something?
Oh, rock, paper, scissors, and knocking the mic. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, lost.
Man, by the power of
1
luck
point
gods.
to you.
Yeah.
Okay, next question is, now we're going to talk about the Joker.
Yes.
Who is, in your opinion, the best? Morris.
My opinion, Mark Hamill.
And Kendall?
In my opinion, it is Jack Nicholson.
Okay.
Why?
All right, fine, I'll go first. The reason my pick is Jack Nicholson is it was the re-beginning of Batman, right? When Tim Burton made Batman, it was kind of out of left field, right? The Superman movies hadn't been made for many years, and those were the last real superhero movies. Jack Nicholson being the Joker. Before that, the Joker was Cesar Romero's Joker. He was flippant and whimsy, and there was no threat really to him. But then Jack Nicholson comes in and nails the Joker. Like he's so the Joker in that movie. But he's scary and threatening, and you believe that this man will hurt you, and because he's so crazy, he'll do it for no reason. And Jack Nicholson was so good at that. He was the Joker, despite the weird, messed up origin story about him being the person who killed Batman's parents. That was weird, but his Joker was picture perfect to me.
Yeah, Tim Burton haven't read a comic book in his life, so that's why he.
Didn't matter, man. It was. We're not. It's not.
No, I'm saying that they made him the killer of Batman's parents.
Yeah.
That's because
because Tim Burton didn't know.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, if Kevin Smith has a long.
I bet he does.
Yes.
The fat man on Batman.
For me, I would say that the first Batman with Michael Keaton and you have Jack Nicholson as a Joker is the same as your first kiss. It's not the best kiss, but it's the one you remember.
Well played.
And that wasn't
Nice
planned. That was
metaphor.
something came up when you were talking.
Well played.
So for me, as an adult, I heavily made out with Mark Hamill's Joker on many occasions. And he's it's not in real life. But for me, he's a
jealous if you have. Sorry, go on.
yeah. He's a voice actor of the Joker. He has never played the Joker in a live action movie. But when you hear him voice the Joker, there's no doubt that that's the voice of the Joker. Any other person trying to do it on film could never try to emulate it because it would fall short of the magnificent of Mark Hamill's Joker. If it's in the cartoon, The Killing Joke, if it's in the Arkham games, it's just, I mean, goosebumps when I'm fucking talking about it. It's that fucking amazing. And by the way, he is also Luke Skywalker.
Which legit gives him points.
Yeah.
No, I would never argue anything but brilliance about Mark Hamill's Joker. Because, I mean, he's the voice of the Joker. And I love the fact that he calls it my Joker. He wants to be the Joker in everything they make. If they're making a game, an animated movie, anything, he wants to be the voice of the Joker, and I love that because he is so good at it. He like you say, as soon as he has that like hello bats, I'm like, oh my god, that's the Joker.
And the laugh just goes cold down your spine. It's
but I do call technicality because he doesn't. He's not the Joker, right? Being the Joker, think Heath Ledger's performance, the lick slipping, the weird, like, that's what really makes the Joker.
I'm feeling that what you're trying to do now is tear down voice acting.
Nothing but respect for voice actors, but I don't even think Mark Hamill would say he is the Joker, right? He voices the Joker and he loves it, but he isn't the Joker, right? Where Jack Nicholson was the Joker, through and through, right? Made it his own and did.
Yeah, I knew that I was going to have problem with the fact that he's never been the Joker in a live action movie.
And it is technicality bullshit, but
it says
it
the
stands,
best
man.
Joker, not the best movie Joker.
That's fair.
So the question in itself allows me to choose Mark Hamill, and he has more credits.
Full on lawyered.
Yeah, he has more credits as the Joker than any
else. Absolutely,
other.
he does.
Well, probably people have done it more in an animated show. If you
He
count
was the
episodes.
animated show.
Yeah, but before him,
There was like what do you mean?
Tim something or.
No, I don't think so.
We don't have.
Yeah.
We can't fact check this, but
No.
yes, by far, by every other actor you think has been the Joker, he is the one that has been doing it the most. Points to me.
Wow.
No,
Let us
I'm sorry.
refer to our lady of mediation.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know because
I'll
mean-
get another beer while you.
yes, get another beer.
Think.
Because I don't know if you can really compare the two. If one
Right?
has never
There
been,
is a problem in that.
I think we have to call this one a draw because.
Oh, that hurts so bad.
Or maybe I
A draw
have
on
to.
Best
I have to
Joker?
just give it to you because you're the only one.
That's fighting for it still at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
think
Marius
that's a
out
good
of the
idea.
room. So.
Yeah. So
I
pretty much.
was going to share these.
I think, yeah. I think we have to give it to Kendall just on the technicality.
But there was no technicality. It wasn't movie joke. Okay, fine. I'll not.
Concede defeat.
I'm not going to be the child
Made
that's
a decision.
discussing this. Yeah.
The Queen's ruling
Okay.
stands.
It's fine.
And on the other side of the argument, who is the fucking worst?
I don't much care for this game anymore.
Fine. Bye.
Well, I can do first because it's well, you probably already told me yours by the last question, but for me,
Nope.
it's
Nope.
it isn't Romero.
Nope.
Go on.
It's not
Please
Hitler.
continue.
Okay, sorry. It's Jared Leto. He is.
Really?
He is the fucking worst Joker there is. He is.
He gets a lot of hate, yeah.
No, he doesn't.
Everybody hates Jared Leto.
It's yeah. No, he's good in many things, but the Joker is horrible.
Would you like to tell Marius your pick? He's really
Mine?
surprised.
Is Kevin Michael Richardson on the same technicality that you passed by last time?
So you should just give me the
Okay.
point now.
Marius is
Kevin Michael
Marius is
Richardson
going to try and swing this.
My
voiced
on
the
technicality.
Joker in a short-lived and not particularly good animated series called The Batman. And one, I think he's the worst because, I mean, you've never heard him. And he's doing a complete imitation.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
He's a
No,
voice
you don't.
actor.
No, but he's a voice actor. He's been on some. I think he.
Probably heard him in something. but
Yeah, you probably have. You definitely heard it. But he's doing a full copy of Mark Hamill's Joker.
Yeah,
He doesn't make it his own. It's just it's like black Mark Hamill's Joker. It's got more bass.
Which was my point. If you try to emulate it, you won't come close.
So he tries to emulate
Yeah.
it and doesn't do a good job. But the worst problem is because I'm also going with his Joker, right? His Joker is this like ape dude who can go toe to toe with Batman and flips off walls and hangs from his toes, which like completely belies the point of the Joker, right? The Joker doesn't go toe to toe with anybody. The Joker, you know, there's nothing he would like better than to Batman to beat him to death because then he wins, right? Like he's not a fighter, he's a thinker. And I hate him. Sorry, I went on my answering before he got to start.
That's fine. I was pouring a delicious Baba O'Reilly Saison, also available at Colonial before Christmas, but now there's nothing left.
Hashtag ad.
Hashtag you're too late.
It's good advertising for stuff you don't have.
It's advertising.
It's the best advertising. It's just, you can't have this.
But is it advertising if no one ever
But
listens
okay,
to the
since
podcast?
you don't know who
that's
my
also
guy
true.
since you don't know who my guy is,
Well,
I'm willing to defend your guy a little bit. Because Jared Leto came after Heath Ledger.
yeah.
Which is a feat in of itself. And he couldn't be the same Joker as Heath Ledger for the same reason. You imitate it, you're just going to look stupider. So they had to go a totally different direction. And there's always been that aspect of the Joker character of the like pin suit dressed gangster, right? Like I mean, that is a part of having like a gang and henchmen and stuff like that, right? Which we haven't actually. Well, Jack Nicholson's Joker had it. Heath Ledger's Joker kind of did, but like, I mean, there was nothing suave about that Joker, right? Not that I thought Jared Leto's Joker was suave, but they did a good job of having him be believable running a gang, and being that like, you know, he's not god level chaos. He's just insane and twisted, right?
Yeah.
And they did a good job at actually like trying to ground him in this weird Suicide Universe world, right? Because I mean, Heath Ledger's Joker wouldn't really even work.
I agree that playing the Joker after Heath Ledger did his, it's not going to be easy. You're going to do you have to do something different.
Yeah.
And he did do something different, but that definitely wasn't a good different. It was just for me. I rewatched Suicide Squad, and that's not a good movie. It's not a good movie. But the scenes that just made it like harder to watch was actually him as the Joker. The highlight for me actually was like the small seconds you got to see Ben Affleck Batman. That was like, yes, we're in this world still. And then figuring out a movie where Jared Leto and Ben Affleck is going to go toe to toe in a way. Joker and Batman, those two, Joker and they are
that
like,
Joker and that Batman.
Yeah, they wouldn't
They
mix.
don't. No, you're right.
So and that's the whole. Batman has his Joker, but in this universe that we're trying to create, that Joker doesn't fit that Batman at all.
I'd like to change my answer.
No.
God damn it.
If I had allowed you to change your answer, what would you have said?
Jared Leto.
I think Marius wins this one.
Is this
No,
my
because that's a very
This is your
good
first
point.
point.
Yeah.
Because seeing that Batman would have just like swung through the window and
Beat it.
put his face through a glass table and walked away. Like that would be no. Yeah.
And his laugh. I mean, is that a retarded circus seal? It's not far
the
from it.
scene when he's lying on the ground in all the knives and Harley's missing, and he gives that laugh. That works really well. That one was really well done, I thought. But I agree.
Yeah,
The weird smile on his hand and the tats and the grill. Like he looked like garbage.
Yeah, he wasn't menacing.
No, he
I
wasn't.
mean, there's a scene where the prison guard, played by Ike, something, is scared of the Joker, but you don't understand why. Why is he so scared of him? Because when he comes into the room, it's not threatening in a way, not in the way that I wanted it to be.
Well, they did, but I think that was the redeeming part of it. I actually thought they got his like crazy dangerousness right? The weird like unpredictability. That's the whole scene with Common, right? You know, when he's trying to
We're
like, pin
digressing
off
now, by the way.
Okay.
Harley Quinn.
Yeah, sorry.
Yes.
He's very threatening. Like he is. I genuinely believe he was threatening, and this man may snap or it may be innocent.
Yeah.
But I'm going to concede because that was a very, very well thought out answer.
Yes.
And I only picked mine because I knew nobody had ever heard of him. I thought that would win me.
Yeah.
But you're right. The whole Batman to Joker, that's exactly.
It's
They complete each other.
Won't work.
And speaking of, we're moving on to Batman.
Yes.
Who is? Should we do best or worst? Best. Who's the best? In your opinion, Morris?
I'm gonna take some flack for this.
Yep.
Ben Affleck is the best Batman.
Okay.
You look like you wanted to punch him there for a second. It's like
I like Ben Affleck's
just gonna
Batman.
take
I
him.
bring that
I
out
mean-
in people.
Okay. My pick for Batman is Kevin Conroy.
Because he's a voice actor, that's a technicality. I think I get the point.
So, go on. Tell me.
Tell me more.
Why Ben Affleck is the best
It's the
Batman?
best Batman of all the Batmans.
Of all the Batmans.
Okay.
Well, for one, he is the only Batman, I haven't seen all of them, where he doesn't have to do a dark voice when he speaks. Because he is a smart man. He has a voice modulator, so he speaks in a normal voice, and that changes it when it comes out.
Is Batman supposed to have this like ridiculous low
Well,
voice,
you
or is
would-
that just something that they've made a thing?
That was Heath Ledger. Or Heath Ledger.
Christian
excuse
Bale.
me. Christian Bale.
Well, no,
Christian Bale.
Michael Keaton also kind of made his voice a bit different, but he didn't go as far as Christian
He
Bale
didn't
did.
try to like eat granite.
Sounds like a
fucking talk.
gravel machine.
So sorry.
So that, but that's not really Ben Affleck's choice. But for me, that also makes it a better Batman than the others, because of course he would have that instead of going dark. It's just stupid.
You know what I really appreciate about these discussions that we are having is that it's also the person combined with the fact that it's actually the version of the character despite the person. Like you say, this Batman is smart and has a voice modulator. I like that Batman. And that has to factor in as much as how the person played them, right?
And
Go on.
of course, he also played old, beaten Batman. One of my favorite movies is The Wrestler. So also because of that theme, it just fits. I want to see a broken down Batman. I want to see his redemption. And they were touching upon it in the movies. The movies are shit most of the time. They have some redeeming qualities, but not too many that redeems the whole movies. But, and also, if you see Batman v Superman, the best scenes in the movie are with Batman, by far, especially, and also that they adopted the fighting from the Arkham games, that rawness, the brutality of him taking down just, I'm gonna break your leg because then you can't get back up. People had some issues with him using a gun, but then,
Amongst other things,
yeah, but Batman doesn't use a gun. Well,
Batman doesn't flip carfuls of people through buildings.
Batman doesn't kill, but I think that he killed in all movies he's been in.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, there are maybe they don't die immediately. Maybe they struggle with the for 2-3 weeks.
But they
and then
didn't
just
make
Michael
it
die.
Keaton
through.
one where he just straps a bomb to a clown's chest and pushes him down the sewer, and it's like, damn, that was cold, man.
So the hysteria with Ben Affleck as Batman was that people don't like Ben Affleck,
yeah,
but he made them enjoy him as Batman.
fully.
So he had an uphill struggle. When Christian Bale became Batman in Batman Begins, they were the same expectations to that movie as this. So he had a much easier way of becoming Batman. Michael Keaton was your first kiss Batman, unless you had the television show, which is its own thing. It's good fun when you're 5 years old, but it doesn't stay fun when you get older. So for me, yes, it's Ben Affleck all the way, because I also want to see him do Batman more. I sit and I want more of him being Batman.
Well, I would say you would have to want to see him more because he's been Batman for all of like 2 hours of total screen time.
Well, he's been Batman as many times as Christian Bale.
Oh, you counting Suicide Squad? That's dirty. Okay.
Yeah, but it's 2 minutes or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, the screen time. Yeah, I agree with
But
you.
I do agree the best part. Gotta stop doing that. Of the DCEU as it used to be. One of them was definitely high points. Was Ben Affleck's Batman. Justice League. Best scene of that entire movie is the very opening when Batman takes down the Parademon. It's perfect Batman. Find a scummy crook, use it as bait, and then take down something you have no right of taking down. Like, this thing is stronger, has claws and teeth, and yet, because he's the Batman, he does it. And that movie set my expectations, or that opening set my expectations so high for that movie, only to have them dash.
Yeah, the movies are horrible.
But whatever, he was a great Batman. But I think Kevin Conroy, for the same reason why Mark Hamill is the Joker, Kevin Conroy has voiced Batman in every time Batman has, where there's been a Batman that needed a voice.
I think that's his voice if I press this button.
Really?
Is that a button?
It's a belt button.
Oh.
I'm Batman.
Yeah, there he is.
Yeah. Sounds stupid.
But also to the voice, as you mentioned, Michael Keaton's sort of, I'm Batman, the subtle whatever, and Christian Bale gargling marbles. He does the perfect dichotomy from the Batman voice to the Bruce Wayne voice, where it's the same voice, it's just a different intensity, right? When he's Batman, he's definitely Batman. Yeah. There's no Bruce Wayne there anymore. And when he's Bruce Wayne, you believe it again, right? And so I think that he had such an iconic voice and take and way of making the character his own, because he has to do, two characters at the same time. And he was the voice of Batman. He is the voice of Batman, right? All of your Arkham movie or games, it's all Kevin Conroy, right? He took ownership of Batman the same way Mark Hamill did, right? And we all love Mark Hamill because he's Mark Hamill. But Kevin Conroy is just as much of a legend in that field. And I think he has to be the best Batman because he's been making it his own for so long, right?
I don't disagree that he is the best voice of Batman.
Here we go.
It's really hard to argue against all my own points that I made to dethrone an animated.
I mean, there is a technicality here, I believe.
Right.
But no, I'm saying that also if you're going to do Ben Affleck's portrayal of Bruce Wayne, he is even greater at that than Christian Bale.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, because Christian Bale is just...
Christian Bale.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but he's just a playboy. He's like American Psycho taking on a different morality.
Totally.
Yeah.
But it's exactly what he is. Jesus.
But if you see the opening, when he is actually just Bruce Wayne running through the streets, seeing the destruction, you see his face, the anger, and when he just kind of saves the money he can.
Yeah.
That's the Bruce Wayne that you need to see.
Yeah.
And he cares for his employees, all this. So for me, it is the best Batman, Bruce Wayne, by far.
I just think we haven't seen him for long enough to be able to make a decision like that.
What do you mean, 3 movies?
Yeah, but like
an
hour and a half of screen time, right? It's like we haven't actually seen his Batman. We've seen his Batman, as a supporting character.
You haven't seen him in a solo movie. Batman.
We haven't seen him,
and we
haven't gone depth into him. We don't actually know why he's murdering people left, right, and center, right? Like there has to be the event. You see the thing with the haha jokes on you in.
They touch upon many different things that would tell you a story.
But unless you know why they have this weird radical take on the Batman that he just straight up in his first action scene, he murders 100 people by blowing up their cars and throwing their cars through buildings and stuff like that, right? And that's a huge departure from anything that is Batman, right? Batman, Michael Keaton might have killed, but it is a tenet of Batman. Batman doesn't kill, right? There's one rule he won't break. It's the crux of The Dark Knight Rises, right? Which is one of the best Batman movies ever made. Is this idea that Batman, no matter what, he can't cross that line because once he does, he's going to turn into Ben Affleck's Batman. As soon as he starts killing people and that's okay, I mean, then he's become the Punisher, right?
I agree that you don't get too much backstory that tells you why, but for me it's that he's there. I want to see his redemption from there, and I see the way he portrays the character that it's just there's darkness, there is shit that's happened that you want to know, but nobody's told you what's happened, and that's why I also want to see more of him, and that's why he is the best. Every other Batman, it's his
Arc.
Yeah. Every other movie is always his arc going, except Forever and Batman and Robin. That's it stopped with those two.
That's when Batman started to do acid.
Yeah, like
Shit was getting boring.
we should have
He's gonna
nipples
start
on
tripping balls all
the
the
suit.
time.
The suit should have nipples or mammals.
The worst part is how much I liked those movies when I was a kid. I loved Batman Forever.
I haven't thought
Arnie
about
is Mr. Freeze, like nice to meet you. Like it was perfect, man.
I enjoyed the movie when I was a kid.
Yeah. Oh no, you can't.
But rewatching it, that's not happening.
So Mediator, what are you gonna be doing?
I'm giving.
It's not a point in any way, but a bat is a mammal?
Yes.
Okay, then the nipples are
Is a
fine.
bat a mammal?
Then the nipples are fine.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, the bat is
The suit should have nipples
Okay.
if it's a
It's
mammal.
the only
Yeah,
actual
sure.
flying mammal.
Oh.
Ha!
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I'm giving this one to Morris.
All right, I'll concede the point. So it's all tied up.
So you're currently at 2-2.
Nah.
Moving on to the worst Batman.
I pick George Clooney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I picked Val Kilmer, so we're starting the bar.
Okay, I just have to say that both really good choice.
Right?
But I have
Because they're both really bad.
Because they were.
as Batman, yes, as Batman,
Yeah.
they're both really bad. But
We have to argue why ours
the
is
one
worse
is yeah.
than the other guys. All right, bring it.
Both have a terminal illness, but I'm going to tell you why mine is the worst. No, it's he looks like old Batman in Batman and Robin, but he isn't playing it as an old Batman in any way. It's also, for me, it's a clear. He was a rising star at that point. He hadn't reached the level he is at now. So I see his choice to play Batman as nothing else than trying to reach higher status as an actor.
Vanity.
So yeah, vanity all the way. So he didn't play that part because he wanted it. He played
Just
that part
wanted to
because
get
he
more
needed it
famous.
to get to a
To
different
have
level.
his star
Yeah.
rise even further.
Walt Kilmer is such a. I mean, anything you see Walt Kilmer in, you're gonna enjoy Walt Kilmer. I mean, Tombstone.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, he should be a Joker, not a Batman.
Yeah, you can do an interesting take, sure.
Yeah, sorry.
20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yes, George Clooney was a bad Batman. But he wasn't as bad a Batman as Val Kilmer was. George Clooney gets a bit off the hook because his movie is beyond bonkers. Bat credit cards and click your heels together and get bat skates. Like,
Yeah,
it's really
Like a Wizard of Oz.
yeah, it's really beyond stupid. Val Kilmer's Batman lives in a universe that has Jim Carrey's Joker or Riddler, which I would see again now happily with this new idea of who bad guys can be. Jim Carrey's Riddler would be fantastic, but digression. Val Kilmer doesn't look like Bruce Wayne. He doesn't look like Batman. When he puts the suit on, it's like this. Like he's like giant Val Kilmer lips or
He has huge lips.
he has such big lips.
They're
You can't put,
enormous.
but you can't put lips when it's all you can see of your face because all of a sudden it's like, yeah. And
He's the first one that ever made a duck face.
Yeah.
he just has permanent
It's just
resting
his
duck face.
Resting duck face.
Yeah. But you know he looks terrible as Batman. And Michael Keaton managed to sort of sell the fact that you couldn't turn the head in a way. Somehow you understood why Batman was like this. But Val Kilmer doesn't even try. If you watch, he pivots from his feet. So when he's going to turn, he goes like this.
It doesn't turn on the heel.
He doesn't use his body to sort of pivot around. He just sort of like shifts sideways to
Like
sideways
a really
with little baby steps.
uncomfortable.
He's a very uncomfortable Batman, and he's just terrible.
Well, one of those two Batmans spawned a sequel. Yeah. The Batman Forever got us Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
I agree that the choices.
That's my Batman. God,
that-
yours
yeah.
Batman work. So that's how bad he is.
No, but he didn't want the part again. That's Val Kilmer chose not to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't blame him.
No. But it's.
If I'd watched me as Batman, I'd be like, oh, I'm not doing that.
That's not a good look for me.
My lips really that big?
What's his girlfriend at the time? Kill Bill. Not Daryl Hannah.
Is she?
Yeah,
Is that,
she was
she
at
was.
that time. Yeah.
See, I literally don't remember very much.
But she should have told him that maybe you don't have the lips for it. Yeah. But no, I agree that he is not a good Batman, but he is not as bad as.
But at least George Clooney.
But he had the grey.
Yeah, but that's
he
fine.
had the grey wings in his hair.
We were very long into this verse now. Batman's allowed to get a bit old. He's adopting 2 children. He's becoming a father. He's the worry
He's gonna have to
right?
age
Yeah,
a
exactly.
little bit.
And yeah, I guess.
And he was good as the cocky Bruce Wayne. He was quite good at Bruce Wayne, actually.
Yeah, he's a great Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
If the movie was called Bruce Wayne and Robin.
But with the bat suit being the leather spandex and stuff like that, not that much of him comes through.
No.
Right? And I mean, I'm not saying he's a good Batman, but he's his Bruce Wayne kind of elevates him a bit. He becomes like, you can take him seriously in the movie, where Val Kilmer doesn't even dye his hair. It's blonde Bruce Wayne. It's horrible, man. He's just so bad.
I think that
So bad.
it's like I said, we're discussing who has the worst terminal illness.
Yeah.
So
much.
Please just say that it's me, that one, or somebody else, or 50-50.
I don't know. It's hard to decide when you're arguing the worst. But
Yeah. And
I think you had a bit of a slightly stronger argument, Kendall.
Of course it is.
But
But
yeah,
There's no
no,
but.
I'm giving the points.
there are Batman butts in
Yes.
Batman and Robin, by the way. They do, yeah.
Folded.
They give you a Robin butt, a Batman butt, and a Batgirl butt when they're suiting up, and then they
have
turn
you actually
around
not seen any of those
and
movies?
they give
Wow.
you the
Zero.
You have
yeah,
missed on some seriously
bad
Yeah,
movies.
and there's full on it's a shot.
I mean, hearing what you're saying now, I'm kind of glad I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
But there is, like he says, there's a shot that's filmed, and it's just this square of them strapping on belts of a giant bat cod piece, a Robin cod piece, and Alicia Silverstone's,
Badass.
yeah. No,
Wow.
it's the front too.
Yeah, and then they turn.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
then she
yeah.
turns and goes, bam, there's my...
The front, like a bat vagina.
Yes,
Yep.
yes, a vagina.
A vagina.
There you go.
God. Well,
I know, and it's really, and they do. They, at one point in the movie, because Mr. Freeze freezes the city, they click their heels together and skates pop out of their suits.
Oh God, it's horrible.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Points going to Kendall this
Nice.
Okay.
time. So,
Mhm.
where are we at? Wolverine.
Yeah.
Recasting. Or the next who should be the next one?
Yes.
I think that's where you were thinking that I was going to say Zac Efron.
Yes.
Zac Efron.
I assume.
Yeah, no, it's fine, but it's not. I would say maybe it's not the best pick, but I think that he could do a great portrayal of the Wolverine character, and it's the Punisher, John Bernthal.
Okay.
Because he only needs to go from the Punisher and go more angry instead of don't go deep but go high, just like a Wolverine. When it's angry, it goes high, and then he's already playing the part in Marvel's Punisher. Just give
Okay.
him the of course not. You need to make him a bit bigger, but he has all the qualities of it. He has the animal part of the character already there, and he isn't too tall, I believe. He maybe needs to put on a bit more size,
Mhm.
but other than that, I mean, look at Hugh Jackman before he got the part. He was small.
Mm.
He hasn't been this big if it wasn't for not big as a star, but his physique
Physically.
wouldn't have been what it is now
Mm.
if he hadn't played Wolverine. So I think John Bernthal could do it easily. The problem is that he's kind of already the Punisher.
In Marvel's own thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But the Netflix. Sorry, what's your?
Hey, oh, you remember me?
Yeah, sorry.
I was just about to remind you.
Thank you. That would have been great 5 minutes ago.
Wow. Cool.
No,
Alright.
my pick is Carl Urban. You know who that is?
Yeah,
Scourge.
Judge Dredd.
Judge Dredd.
Yeah.
Scourge. He's already been in the MCU, but he was
Does-
a bit part.
He doesn't have the mouth for Batman.
But I think he could do a really good Wolverine. Getting really like, because he has the sharpness in the features, right? I've always think of, that's one of Hugh Jackman's forte, is like when he goes berserk, you see the like sharp animalness in his face. And I think Carl Urban can do that as well. And he can do it really well. And to me, he's like the only logical
Go for another Australian person.
That's fine, man.
Yeah.
They're doing pretty well
Yeah.
so far. And I think that, I think he could do an amazing job as Wolverine. I worry a little bit that I'm trying to recreate a Hugh Jackman, but
well, they're both the same age, John Bernthal and
Yeah.
Carl. Yeah.
But my problem with John Bernthal also is that he always looks like he's been hit, or always talks and acts like he's been hit in the head by a 2x4. His whole movement is just like, I don't know. He looks like he's like
he's
dizzy
been
half the
through
time.
a shitload of trauma.
Yeah.
Like somebody that has been living longer than any human being.
Yeah, but Wolverine isn't
Like that's affected him.
this
as
like
a
New
person.
York drunk sitting there being like, oh, schnick, motherfucker. Like, he's, he's sharp, right? He's the Wolverine. He's a fucking ninja. How are you going to make John Bernthal a ninja?
You don't make him a ninja because he became a ninja, but he didn't start as a ninja.
No, but
So, but just picture in your head, close your eyes, and the voice of John Bernthal. Hey, Bob.
yeah, I mean, it sounds great until he has to say more than 2 sentences, and then it turns into like, of New York.
He sounds too much of a New Yorker.
He sounds way too much like he's
He
like.
looks like he should be in like a boxing movie.
Yeah, he looks like he should be in a boxing movie. Somebody who's been losing and cause a big comeback, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas Carl Urban is
Well, I already know who's going to get this point.
who's like seems a bit worn and tired already.
But also, you kind of defeated yourself with your own point,
I always do that.
with your Punisher point, because he's
Yeah.
already.
I was going to put it out there,
been-
but so that if you say it, they can't attack it. But then the mediator starts attacking you,
Yeah.
which is like, oh, I'm sorry, is it two against one?
But full disclosure, Carl Urban has been in the MCU as well.
Yeah.
He was Scourge in Thor Ragnarok,
Yeah.
right? So if that's exclusion, then neither of them will.
I would say that then
Then it's no.
a Netflix television show and actually being part of the MCU, which the Wolverine is going to be part of, you can't. But we're not going to take that away from anybody of the two. But it's
Well, let's call this one a draw then.
yeah, okay.
Okay.
Is that
Because-
one?
No, we have
Still 3-2.
I love like
no
Hugh Jackman too much.
three
Sorry.
3.5 and 2.5, right?
No, you've got 2, he's got 3, as we stand
Okay.
currently.
Oh yeah, because
Oh, if you're
Yeah,
going to
'cause
give
we're
us
not
half a
counting.
point now.
it's
okay.
just it's
There's
just
no
stupid.
half.
No, it's
Right?
just if it's a draw, it's nothing.
It's
Well,
nothing.
when
0,
your
0.
bullshit is that half a
0.
point?
No, I agree
Half a
because
point.
it's like
Get out of here with your half point.
just fuck it. You don't get nobody gets anything.
I'm
And it's-
deciding.
Yeah.
Mediator.
Not you.
But
Oh.
we
Okay. We have one more
have 2 more.
category, do we?
We
Spider-Man.
have, Spider-Man and
Do you want to talk about Spider-Man first?
not really.
Well, let's not do it then. But
Really?
Game.
No, well, yes, let
Okay, let him
I was
speak.
hoping you were going to come. I thought you were going to go the obvious route on this, and I
Okay.
had so.
I don't want you to get upset, so I want let's talk
I am
about it.
upset.
Let's talk about it.
yeah, that's
You were supposed to pick
That's-
Nicolas Cage, Spider-Man Noir,
yeah.
because it would be the best thing anybody's ever seen.
And he did.
Sorry?
And he did.
That's my pick.
That's his pick.
There you go. But, and I was going to counter with Spider-Gwen.
Spider Gwen. Oh, that's so political. Ooh, let
Yeah.
ooh. No,
I will
It's fine.
explain
It's fine.
why it's not.
Oh,
But-
God.
yeah, I did say the noir Spider-Man based on so it's but I'm not gonna hang up on this man part of the question.
Alright, I'll tell you why I chose Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Because Spider-Gwen is I'm also a comics nerd. I haven't just seen the movies. Spider-Gwen is actually a character from the comics, and she's a great character. Her story is that she pushed Peter out of the way, or got bit by the spider that was going to bite him.
Yeah.
And he becomes... Peter Parker is the Uncle Ben to her. He dies teaching her the responsibility. And to me, that is so cool, right? That even if he doesn't become Spider-Man, he is intrinsically connected to the Spider-Man. He is the one who makes Gwen have a code of morals. And that's really, really cool to me. Also, because, yeah, call it political, call it what you want, but like, I want to see, the reason why Miles Morales is so good as Spider-Man is because he's a totally different Spider-Man. He's a black Hispanic kid from the ghetto, right? And Gwen Stacy, who is so part of the Spider-Man mythology, instead of her dying, she's the one who has the powers and goes on and has her own Goblin and her own Doc Ock. It's a huge, beautiful change. It just flips the mythology on its head and has the potential to go really, really well, I think. Yeah. So I would love to see a Spider-Man movie. I would also love to see more Nicolas Cage as Spider-Man Noir, because that made me happy.
The biggest point for me with the Spider-Man Noir, it's Nicolas Cage. If you can get Nicolas Cage in a controlled environment that he doesn't
like
go
a cage.
full, like a cage.
Nicolas Cage in a cage.
Nicolas Cage in a cage. Say that 2 times quick. But then you get all the Nick Cage that you want, but it doesn't become too much Nicolas Cage. And also noir. If there's any style of cinema that is always cool to watch, it's the noir style. And it's the only style that you don't really miss colors if they take it away.
And also, I mean, Spider-Man in Prohibition, without the tech, without the like flashiness, it's really cool. Like, I don't just like it because it's Nick Cage. I would totally go see a Spider-Man noir movie. And I hope that they bring the comedic beats to it. But like, it would be fantastic, right?
Yeah.
How does Spider-Man, when he doesn't have web slingers, when he like has to like throw a hook up on a building and Batman 66 it up, right? Like,
but the one they have been talking, we're digressing now, but they've been talking about John Mulaney's Spider-Ham.
Yeah.
They've been talking about that becoming
I would believe that.
Spin-off, yeah.
Huh.
So that's probably the one that is going to become something, not Spider-Gwen or Spider-Man Noir.
Yeah.
But I don't have that much, I haven't read Spider-Man comics that much at all, so I don't have any comic background for my pick except that it's Nicolas Cage, it's noir.
Yeah.
What else do you need?
And I hate how much of like the point that actually makes for me as well. I love Spider-Gwen, but it's like, it's Nicolas Cage playing Spider-Man in a noir where he gets to go a little crazy but not all the way.
I mean,
and you don't have to see him going crazy.
Yeah.
You
just get to hear it.
Yeah.
Even though Kendall had a very good argument for why Spider-Gwen, but
it makes it more...
the fact that he loves your pick so
I
much
know,
anyway,
I just dug my own grave.
You dug
your
own grave.
Listened to myself do it, but I couldn't stop.
This is just to make... I feel that I get a point here just to make it like the winner takes it all now. It's 3-3.
It's 3-3.
Is it 3-3?
And then we're on the last...
I had
that's
half
the last
point.
No, we just discussed this.
Oh God.
No half point.
Oh no, what is the last question?
The last question is game to movie.
Oh!
Yes.
Oh!
Which one would you like?
God, if I'd known this was going to be the tiebreaker.
This is going to be the decider.
Should we pop the
I
last
would
one
love a
before
little bit
Sure.
more.
And this is actually something that is coming to Kolonialen at the Literature House. It's the Kveika Rognebær.
So it's 2 beers you can't buy anymore and
so
one you
violent.
can't buy yet.
Well, it's Sunday. Well, we're open on Monday. This is rowan berries fermented with quake.
Should have called it earthquake.
I should be a broadcaster doing commercials.
You should.
Why don't you call it earthquake? Earthquake. That would have been really...
Because I don't
It
put
would've been
earth
really good.
in beer.
Ooh, that's citrusy.
Yeah, this is sour. This has been soured,
Smells
and
sour.
the bitterness is mostly from the rosemary. So you get that taste. Sorry.
Is this podcast about beer or?
Yes, because we've been talking about beer all along.
I believe she's calling the digression.
I think.
Yes, thank you, Emily. I'm just gonna fight it every time you do.
It was very nice beer though.
It is. And you can buy this from Monday, March 4th.
We open at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, who wants to go first?
I can go first.
Yeah.
I picked Hitman 47, the Timothy Olyphantastic version.
Oh, we're going best one. Oh,
Wasn't
I've
it?
answered this question
The
completely wrong.
the question that I got was just game to movie, which is not a question.
Yes.
It's just a statement. So, game to
Okay,
movie.
Oh
Discuss.
wow!
Should we do worst and
It wasn't.
best,
I wasn't
or-
doing worst. I was
Okay,
doing
but-
theoretical.
Which would you love to
okay.
see?
Yeah, that I was doing theoretical.
And then
I was-
let's discuss which one you would most hate to see made into a film.
We can do both quickly, and then
Yeah.
I think we should end the podcast
Yes.
because
We're getting to an hour now.
I was thinking that we need the longest 8:30, and we're at 10 minutes to 8. Yeah.
Not
So-
too bad.
Best potential game to movie.
Yeah. Why don't we pause or something so I can go urinate? You could.
And every time
Yeah,
I
That's
guess.
really
Yeah,
annoying.
it's perfect. We are back from toilet breaks and ready to finish.
Next time, can you not drink so much beer, both of you, so that we don't need.
We don't need toilet breaks.
Okay.
I will never not drink as much beer as I drink. Because who am I if I'm not doing what I do? It's like, that's,
Who am
You're
I
you
if
not
I
doing
don't
it.
do what I do?
Yeah.
You're not you not doing it.
that's right.
It is.
The end.
Yeah, that's
Oh, no.
me being schooled. Who
By
I
a
am.
girl. Okay, back to the point, which is best game to movie. We're going to discuss first of all which potential one you would like to see. You've already said Hitman. Kendall.
No. The Hitman is the other.
The other category.
That's just wait.
Okay.
Okay,
Right.
then I will bring out mine.
Yeah.
Because I require the category. Halo ODST.
What's ODST?
Yeah, what is that?
ODST are the Orbital Drop Shock Troopers.
Ah,
And if you played any Halo game, when you're out there in your big mech suit kicking some butt, there's all these guys in black soldiers dropping in these pods around you. Those are the ODST.
Mhm.
And they made a game about them in the whole Halo universe. And you tell me your pick, and then I
Yeah.
will explain why I think.
I pick the Elder Scrolls.
Yeah.
Because there is just so much to take from to make anything. It's like if you think the Lord of the Rings is a big world,
Mm-hmm.
I think Elder Scrolls is bigger.
Yep.
So if you can make 3 movies out of 1 book, you can make anything from just
Infinity.
1 game. But since I'm basing it on the whole Elder Scrolls saga, so that's my pick for the
I will give you that.
potentially best.
The Elder Scrolls would make an amazing movie. So would Fallout 4. But I think that what Halo ODST has the potential to do is to. Maybe I'm too into the universe building, but it's the idea that if you introduce these people on the ground, right, and they're not super soldiers, they're not the Master Chief, so they're very mortal. They take fall damage when you play, right? It's that type of thing where you're never under doubt when you're you're not in doubt when you play the game that you are not the Master Chief. In fact, you encounter the Master Chief through, and it feels like a WMD is walking through the battlefield. Like it's crazy. And I think that element would translate so well into a movie where everybody knows Halo, everybody knows that this is going to be something fun, but instead of just going straight to the ass kicker, you have these the troops on the ground, right? And maybe it would have to be made after a Halo movie was made, but I think it has the potential to be like one of the best comic book or video game movies you could make, because Elder Scrolls would go so they would screw it up. is the problem. You know that they would limit themselves, and they wouldn't let it be, you know, the Khajiit. It was like, I don't believe that they could do Elder Scrolls justice, but something like Halo ODST, which is, yeah, I just think it would be.
Well, when you start talking about they wouldn't do it justice, well, people could fuck up Halo as well. But my point, fuck, I lost it. Yes, Halo is Microsoft exclusive.
Yes.
Yeah. So that IP is only known by Xbox players, more or less.
Only in depth.
Yeah. Yes.
But everybody knows
about Halo. They know the Halo name.
Who Halo is.
I know the movie Mamma Mia.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen it. I know it's ABBA songs.
Yeah.
So
you could identify the Master Chief on your first look.
Yes.
I've never played a God of War game. I know who Kratos is.
Yeah.
Right?
But my point is that with the Elder Scrolls, that's just a multi-platform thing. It works. I mean, they even did a joke about how many times Skyrim has been made into for a new console. So for me, it's not only it's known by so many. It's such a rich world that if you just go for one of the stories and that's a hit, you can pick up another story. And it's not only that; it's the timeline of everything. It's just, I mean, it's like you actually found the Game of Thrones books before anybody else. But not only that, this is bigger than how big Game of Thrones is. It's just a massive source of different movies. It's endless. With Halo, yes, that it could be a great fucking movie, sci-fi movie, but it doesn't give you as much material as you could get from Elder Scrolls.
Yeah. None of that is wrong.
I don't agree, but what you're saying is correct.
What you're saying is factually and logically correct.
Even though I know that,
I
still gonna
really
disagree.
want to see an ODST movie because
Yeah.
I think that there's been some Halo shorts done, and Halo movie has been in the works and thought about for so long.
If they did it like Edge of Tomorrow, the Tom Cruise thing, that for me, that if they got Doug Liman and they got, I would watch that movie. I'm not saying that it's not going to be a good movie, but for me, the Elder Scrolls just gives you, like you said, maybe it's too many options, but that's up to the people that make the movie. I'm just saying that if you're going to make a movie from any type of video games, Elder Scrolls gives you so much to work with.
What about the other category?
Because this is a two-parter.
This is a
two-part thing. For me, I've already said Hitman 47, the Timothy Olyfantastic.
This is going to be a bit of a challenge for Kendall now because now he has to make up something on the spot because we've just.
Don't tell my secret. I had that whole pee break and forgot to actually. I didn't know this was the category. The best video game to movie translation.
I mean, I'll give you this. It's much harder because there haven't been that many good video games to movie.
Also, I would go into the definition of best.
For me, it's how I enjoyed it. If it's true to the material, that's the best.
Well, okay, true to the material, then I might lose points. I really, 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 really want to go with Uwe Boll's House of the Dead.
I've actually seen it.
Because it's bonkers, and it's Uwe Boll. Uwe Boll makes really bad.
If you know Uwe Boll, you know what type of movie you're getting into.
Yeah, exactly. But
he's mostly made just video game movies.
He's made a whole career basically making like crappy movies, and then boxing critics who say it's wrong. But I don't think I can take it because it's actually just like the only redeeming quality is that like I had a really good time when I watched it, not because it was good, but because it was so bad, right? Like it's so ridiculous. There's like styrofoam zombie heads that pop up on pneumatics that you can see like just so they can get chopped by a sword. So the best video game to movie, you know what I'm gonna go with? Dungeon Siege.
Still Uwe Boll.
Still Uwe Boll.
Yeah.
But next level. That one.
Have you played the game?
No. You weren't supposed to ask me that, but.
No, I've played the game, so I'm gonna just. I haven't played much of the game. Maybe I played it for 8 hours.
Yeah.
Not in one sitting, but
Okay,
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I went to the toilet. No, I'm just saying that game for me is just like a long walk. It's just like Lord of the Rings without any of the funny entertainment stuff. It's just like you walking, you meet some goblins, you kill the goblins, you keep walking.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm walking towards.
Yeah. No,
So that's the game for me.
It's
That's
not
just
about
like,
the destination, it's about the journey.
yeah,
So
but the
then
journey is
maybe-
just.
Maybe then I have to win on the merit that maybe the movie was better than the game.
But that's not the question.
That's not the question.
But if it's best video game, that not best video game turned into a movie, it's best movie based on a video game.
Yeah.
That still doesn't factor in at all, so that doesn't. I'm gonna give up on that line of questioning.
Well, you said Dungeon Siege.
I said Dungeon Siege, and I will stand by it. And the reason I'll stand by it is because
Ray Liotta, Jason Statham.
yeah, Jason Statham, man, being the transporter in the Middle Ages, it's freaking awesome, and he's really good. And you got Ron Perlman, man. You can't go wrong when you put Ron Perlman in anything. It just elevates the movie to such heights. And the problem I have is Hitman 47 with Timothy Olyphant was not good.
It's great.
No, he's this like badass murderer guy. He's not this like change disguises as you infiltrate a compound and slowly take people down.
That's where you go from video game
Yeah.
into a movie, because in a video game you play the character, and if you're not good at the game, you're gonna manage to play the game, but you're gonna kind of game hack it and
Yeah,
stuff
but what
like
I
that.
mean is that
But when you put that into a movie, it is what it is. It is a highly trained killer. It is a fucking badass.
yeah, but it's not a highly trained killer that's like standing on the top of subways with machine guns and shit like that. Like that's not what Agent 47 is. Agent 47 is very closed off and like
Oh, he is closed off in the movie.
yeah, but he's not. He's like smiles and like
No, he doesn't. He is
when they're in the freaking
maybe towards the end, because
Yeah.
that's when she's triggering
Redemption arc,
his,
yeah.
you're a human too, except that you were raised in a lab and taught to kill people. But it's like the Terminator. At the end, he smiles, he tries, he gives the thumbs up. But for me, he just embodies the character. He is closed off. He is cold to everything. But not only that, it's not made in. If you look at any other movie where you have that type of character, it's the insecurity of it. But he's not insecure about it. He knows what he is. He owns the fact that he is a killer, and whatever things comes from the outside of other people and how he responds to it, he's responding to it as who he is.
I think we have to wrap this up because we're gonna go on forever and ever and ever.
All right,
And I think
mediator decided 8.
I think based on only the strength of argument, Morris gets the point and wins
I will concede
the
those.
movie fight by 1 point.
Those were both
This
both
time-
better answers than mine in both cases.
Yeah, but we
So
did
it's 4-3.
both misunderstand. Well, we didn't really write a question for the last one. It was just
There was no question.
movie, game.
Game to movie.
Yeah.
If I hadn't pushed you so hard on Noir, I would have won.
Yeah, actually you would. But I feel
It
that
was very close though.
there was you did Kevin Conroy for one. I got a point, but then there was another choice that you had that was also a voice actor.
Kevin Michael Richardson.
Yeah, that I didn't get a point on. So then again, it would have been even.
Well, things have balanced themselves out nicely, haven't they?
Yeah,
So,
as long as we all sleep tonight, it's all good.
thank God.
But that's movie fight done.
Good fun.
Yeah, I loved
Thank you
it.
for having me.
Yeah, both. Thank you so much for coming.
You're welcome.
Drinking my beer. That is
It's the least
some of
you
it.
can do.
You've been
Yeah.
trying to
really.
push it so hard all night. You might as well have the 2 receptors here.
Yeah, that's people come here to drink and talk. No, it's good. I really appreciate it. I hope Emily will come back for more.
I might. I'll think
I mean, you can compete,
I can
or
compete.
I can mediate. No problem.
No. I mean, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Since I'm the champion and all.
For now.
For now.
For now.
What did you say? A 12-round robin here. So
I
we're
think
just the beginning.
I'm gonna stop on top. So
Right.
from now on, I'm just gonna mediate.
No. I will have you again.
Next
Cheers,
time.
guys.
Next
Thank
time.
you.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.